Hey all, Kyle, AA0Z here. I just got sent this new type of contest, or a different type of contest, that I wanted to alert you about. And it's called the Maidenhead Mayhem contest. The link is in the description below. It's w9et.com is the website. And it looks like, obviously, it's you make contacts with other hams in different Maidenheads. So it's kind of like the Stu Perry contest. But I just wanted to go over the rules because I thought that some of this was kind of cool. And also, this has prizes. It's not your typical certificate or a plaque that you can hang on the wall. It's actual prizes for winning in parts of or winning categories. So let's go over the rules here. He first preferences this by, hey, this might be complicated at first, but once you read through the rules and you understand them, it gets a little bit easier. And also, the difficulty stuff is done automatically in the logger, so you got to make sure that your logger is set up correctly. And I think we'll get into what loggers work and what loggers don't. I hope that N1MM is part of the logger program because that's what I use, and I think that's what a lot of people use. So let's go over some of these rules. So there's two separate events of this contest. It looks like the sprint already happened, which usually sprints are 4 to 6 hours long, and I think that it was to get people familiar with the contest. The full contest is starting on July 22nd, which is today, if you're watching this today, but it goes for it goes from July 22nd to 23:59 UTC, July 30th. So that's a long contest to make QSOs in. But your maximum operating time is 24 hours. Out of that, I think in here, we'll get into this, but it looks like it's something like 216 hours that you can actually contest for, but your maximum operating time is 24 hours. And then your minimum off time needs to be an hour. I think it's between QSOs, right? So you make a QSO, and or maybe you can make you can probably make a bunch of QSOs, and then your maximum operating time is that 24 hours. So you got to figure out when you're going to get on the bands and when you're going to contact or call CQ or hunt and pounce here. Search and pounce. Logs are due August 15th at straight up UTC. Cabrillo files. And yeah, so you submit your logs to w9et.com, and that's how you submit. So let's go over, he's got some reasons here for some of these rules, and I'm not going to really go through a lot of these, but I do want to highlight some of these. Again, you have 216 hours in the log window, but you can only use up to a max of 24 hours on the air operating time. Some of you may be old enough to remember the old classic novice roundup. It was very similar to that. Okay, I don't remember that. But here is some strategy. So not only can you get on and do a marathon and make as many contacts as possible, you need to think when the best time to get on is. I need a multiplier in Europe. What's the best time and band to give me the best chance of propagation to Europe to grab these multipliers? Also, let's see, simply time. The number one reason we hear for someone not to do a particular contest is time. Oh, yeah, so I don't have time to dedicate in this weekend to actually contest, so I'm not going to contest. Well, this is, you can take, part of that 216 hours and actually contest. That's great. I think that's awesome. One of the things that I don't like to do is to contest for, out of the 48, I think you can only contest for like 42 or 36. I can't remember. But anyway, that's a lot of time to take out of your weekend. So I like sprints, and I like to contest for, 4 to 6 hours and then take a break. So I think this is great. You can, get on whenever you want to get on and make some QSOs and participate in the contest. So again, he talks about physical limitations. Most contests are the kind nowadays that you get a lot of us getting older, and you just can't physically do lots of contests. The days of doing a 48-hour contest is just physically not possible. I think this is awesome. Again, great idea. Awesome. So it's giving you 216 hours of time to use in your 24 hours of operating time. You can operate in as many short runs as you need, and you can also take times off as you need. That's great. Okay, so the objective for amateurs around the world to contact as many amateurs in a Maidenhead grid field as possible. So no explanation necessary. Bands, typical contest bands, 160 through 10. Here are some suggested frequencies, and those look typical. They look typical. Oh my gosh, it's early in the morning here on Saturday morning. Let's see. It looks like modes are your typical modes: CW, SSB, RIDI, PSK31, and 63, and FT4 and FT8. Interesting. So basically, the whole gamut of modes here. Only 2 levels: QRP, 5 watts or less, and full power, 100 watts. Great. I love whenever you kind of put everyone on the same playing field and say, all right, everyone is QRP or 100 watts, and you don't get this, oh, now you're full gallon, 1,500 watts, because a lot of us don't have amplifiers. So this is great. The contest exchange, the first 2 letters of your Maidenhead grid square. Now you can use either the 2 or the 4-digit exchange. Okay, yep. So that's kind of FT4 or FT8-ish that you can use the 4-digit. And let's see. Points given. QSO points given per mode per contact. All right, CW is 3 points. SSB is 2 points. All digital modes is 1 point. Oh, wow. Okay. And so all of your digital modes, RIDI, PSK31, PSK36. Isn't that supposed to be 61? I don't know. FT4, FT8 are all digital modes. QSO dupes. You can work each station on each band and each mode. 3 modes: CW, phone, and digital. Okay, so if you do all 6 bands and all 3 modes, you could work each station up to 18 times. Okay, all right, I like that. Multipliers, and this is kind of where we get into some of the rules that are confusing. So each multiplier is the first 2 letters of the Maidenhead grid field, such as EN, FM, or IO. Okay, we all understand that, right? And just like QSOs, you can earn each grid field on each band and each mode. So again, each multiplier can be earned up to 18 times. That's 5,832 multipliers. All right, this is where it gets a little bit more difficult. This is one of the new things in this contest that has never been in any other contest before. This DF awards, or this DF rewards you with more points for making contacts that are more difficult to make. Okay, so let's go over this. So if you are in grid EN and you make another, okay, so let's go backwards here. 160, 80, and 40 meters. So we're talking those 3 bands, those lower 3 bands. If you are in grid EN and you make a contact with another station, and I'm reading this right here, you make contact with another station also in grid EN, to apply the difficulty factor. Okay, DF is difficulty factor. If you make a QSO, you take the QSO point value of the contact, 1 or 2 or 3 points based on the mode, and multiply that QSO points by the difficulty factor. Being in the same grid, the factor is 1 time. So the final point value of that contact is still as the QSO value. So it's taking the band properties, because typically lower bands are closer and farther bands are further away. So if you make a further away contact on 160, that's going to be more points than making a contact that is closer. I like it. Next example, if you are in EN and you make a contact with any grid that touches EN, these grids have a difficulty factor of 2 times because they are typically harder to make a contact in those areas than it is to make in a grid EN. So take the QSO point value of the contact, 1, 2, or 3, and multiply the times 2 difficulty factor. All right. And I'm assuming the further out you go, it looks like 3 times is the highest value. So if you make a QSO that is not touching the EN Maidenhead, then it's 3 times. Okay? So now the upper bands, so 20, 15, and 10 here, are slightly different. It works in the same way as above, but the multiplication values are different. So I'm assuming the further away you are, the lower contact or the lower multiplier you get. And let's see. Say you're in grid EN and a contact is EN on these bands is the hardest to make, so the factor is 3. Yep, because typically the higher bands, they propagate further, and to make a contact close to you, to your QTH, is harder. Okay, I like it. I like it. Spotting. Spotting is allowed and used and encouraged. Very good. And then let's see. When doing, let's see, spot stations that you contact when doing search and pounce will earn you, again, 500 bonus points. Most loggers can be set up automatically spot these search and pounce stations. Oh, if you spot stations that you contact when doing search and pounce will earn you 500 bonus points. Ah, okay. So if you spot, I guess on the spotting page, 500 bonus points will be added to your QSO total. We've even added a small web page to spot yourself. All right, so let's go. Here we go. Yeah, there is the spotting page. It's on QSO Party Hub, which I've used before. Since digital and CW signals will automatically get spotted by the RBN network, we feel it's only fair to let single sideband signals get spotted by self-spotting. We also highly encourage people that in the search and pounce mode to have their logger activated so it automatically spots any contacts made. Okay, yeah, I like that. So then it has, it has an online scoreboard. Oh, how cool. Scoredistributor.net. So let's go to, then it goes to the online scoreboard? Let's see, home. I don't know, I'll have to take a look. The score distributor, okay. So for those of you that are not in the know, I just realized this. The score distributor distributes the score to the different contest, online contest boards. So you only have to upload once, and then it does all the work in the back end. So that's pretty typical. So you can set up N1MM or your favorite logger to send your score to the distributor, and then it will do the rest from there. So let's go to loggers here. Below are the list of loggers that basically work. DXlog, N1MM. Let's see. What else here? So it's going to show you how to set up the logger. This is great. Shows you how to do everything. So it looks like DXlogger and N1MM are the only 2 loggers that will work. Okay. You got to start small here somewhere. Let's go to prizes. So this is where I thought it was really cool to actually get a prize for participating and submitting your score. So let's see. What is in here? Almost every contest gives you at least a certificate of some kind for placing high in the rankings. Some contests give you a certificate for even participating. In many contests, if you take first place, you often end up getting a nice plaque to hang on your wall. And the Maidenhead Mayhem will also be giving out certificates, and any group wants to sponsor a plaque for some reason, please contact us. Some of the Maidenhead Mayhem developers also came up from the spotting world. Let's see. Why there are no actual prizes that could be won in the amateur radio contest? There really hasn't been any. Let's see. No one can remember that had an actual prize. So why not award a prize? All right, so... Oh, this is interesting. So we did a deep dive into the rules from the FCC that are in the Amateur Radio Part 97. We could not find anything against the rules about getting a prize for being in a contest. I think the issue is getting paid to maybe operate. I think that's probably one of the sticklers. But yeah, I agree. I don't think there's anything that says that you don't get a prize or you can't get a prize. So we also contacted the ARL about getting a prize. They also agreed, and they don't know of any reason why it'd be illegal to get a prize for being in a contest. All right, so let's figure out what the prizes are. Where are the prizes? And what are the... So below are the listing of all the possible prizes, and below will be a ballot.txt that can be downloaded that will list all the prizes. Okay. So it looks like you get a... I'm just reading here that I didn't read beforehand. So it looks like the first prize number 1 is an MFJ 936C. Looks like it's a magnetic loop tuner. Okay, the second and third prizes are a dipole. And then it looks like you got a MFJ key. You've got some suppression chokes, a clock. Oh, you got a Heil Pro 7. Wow, that's nice. Some more Heil Pro or some Heil headsets, and then a ton of CW keys. So, I don't see what the prizes are awarded for. I didn't see that. I'll have to go back and take a look. All right, so let's read this. We really didn't like this for some reason. I think that they were talking about prizes for first, second, and third place, or, placing in the rankings. Some of the developers suggested we bring back something of decades ago. Sadly, it no longer exists. Rag chewing the fat a long time ago. This award, they've got a rag chewers. Yeah, I'm a little confused on who the prizes go to. Below here are the listing of all the possible prizes, and below it will be ballots. We already said that. The station that gets the most votes for one prize wins it. If it's a tie, then who has the bigger score wins it. Prizes are awarded by your peers, so be competitive and don't be a jerk. People will be remembering how everyone was on the air. All right. That's okay. I think that's okay. Then I have to go out and actually vote for somebody. And if I'm just having a QSO with somebody and I'm just exchanging my Maidenhead, I really don't have an opinion about who gets prizes. Maybe I missed something up here. If you're in a contact with a station that has talked from a long time, you get the Yeah, I don't understand. Maybe I don't understand these prizes and how they're going to be awarded. But somebody put in the comments below what if you understand it better, because I don't think I understand it. But anyway, this looks like let's take a look at the sprint and how many people. No, not many people. But you got to start small. Why not? So. Yeah, they got some classes. I didn't see any classes. And here's some soapbox. So let's go back and see if there's any classes that were defined. So I'm in the rules here, and oh, okay, entry class, veteran and rookie, new rules for FT8 and FT4. Okay, so a veteran is anyone who has been contesting for over 2 years. A rookie is anyone who has been contesting for less than 2 years. Any logs submitted containing contacts in FT8 or FT4 will be separated by their own FTX entry class. Okay. All right. So anyway, that is the Maidenhead Mayhem rules contest, or Maidenhead Mayhem contest. I just wanted to give everyone some insight on what I found out and maybe spread the word of this new contest, and maybe I'll work you. I love the concept of this is 216 hours long, and you can contest whenever you want. The bad part about that is you don't have a lot of concentrated contesters on the bands on playing the same contest as you. So there's pros and cons, but we got to start somewhere in the contesting world on some of these new contests that are thinking outside the box. But anyway, that is it. W9ET.com is the website. Go out there, take a look at the rules, and participate in this contest. It starts in, as I'm recording this, I think it starts in like 12 hours. So good luck, guys. 73.